Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. Have a very important post for you. What we're going to cover is all the predictive programming of Donald Trump's presidential campaign and his election November 8th, 2016. We're going to look at commercials, TV shows, movies. Through these mediums, Donald Trump's future presidency was told specifically for this election. We're going to cover all that. Where we're going to begin is with this commercial from 2010, a mattress commercial with Donald Trump talking to sheep. I've shown this commercial twice. We're going to start here in case you haven't seen those videos. And then I have a bunch of new information. There was a lot of predictive programming over more than 2 decades' time for Donald Trump's presidency, the most blatant of which was on the show Suddenly Susan, which we'll get to. So let's begin with this commercial. This is from 2010. Here we go, Truth Seeker.
Think of my Trump home mattress collection by Serta. Finally, the same luxury and comfort I demand in my hotels.
Oh, they'll never count sheep again.
Listen, why don't you come work for me?
What do you have in mind?
Something you were born to do.
Welcome to room 9.
Looking good, number 9. Looking good.
What?
Real quick, notice the sheep numbers in the hallway. Number 11, number 9. Donald Trump was announced as the 45th president on November 9th, 119, in New York City, where those numbers are infamous, September 11th, 2001. Of course, Donald Trump ran on building a wall between the U.S. and Mexico. Mr. Wall announced as the 45th president on the 27-year anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall. If you missed my video on John F. Kennedy, who spoke at the site of the Berlin Wall just before his assassination, the Berlin Wall and Donald Trump, I'm going to link that video in the description. Very important video. But notice here, the 11-9 and also Donald Trump is wearing seemingly the same outfit, the same tie that he wore on election night. This is him giving his acceptance speech November 9th in the early hours of the day at Rockefeller Plaza. If you missed my video on the building he was in, it was 47 floors tall. In the language of Gematria, the word president equals 47. Every president since JFK has visited that hotel, every single one. It was built in the time of JFK, or that's when it opened. Of course, JFK, the last president to be assassinated.
Where's your dignity?
Did you hear that last quote from the sheep? Where's your dignity? And how many people in America feel that way right now? So that was the commercial. I'll link this commercial in the description if you just want that alone. We're going to end up watching one of these TV clips, but we're going to go over all of them. I'm going to link this video that you're looking at right now. It's 3.5 minutes. We're not going to watch it all because I don't want to get, a copyright strike. But I will link this video in the description so you can watch it. We're going to break down every video it shows in here, so when you watch it, you'll have even more information. So let's do that part right now. Real quick, that date, November 9th, 11/9. Just want to remind you that Star of David equals 119, the symbol of the Zionist nation of Israel, a symbol stamped on our currency for more than a century now. Look at your dollar bill. Look at the star pattern, how it is made in the shape of the Star of David. And also think about how intricate the dollar bill is, that print design. That print has existed for more than 100 years, a very complicated print, which is another subject I have another video on. Anyway, Star of David 119, All-Seeing Eye 119, Master Plan, Special Number. Here's Donald Trump being announced as the president, part of a long ongoing plan, seemingly an agenda that's been in place since at least 1964 when he went to the Jesuit University in New York, Fordham, which we'll talk more about. Again, Berlin Wall equals 45 in Gematria. Donald Trump announced as the 45th president on the anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall. The last president to be assassinated was JFK in Dealey Plaza, who spoke at the site of the Berlin Wall not long before his death. Killed on the first day of Sagittarius was JFK. If you missed my recent video on the Trump assassination scare in Reno, Nevada, which turned out to be a false story, There's a specific reason it happened on that day in Reno. It has everything to do with Saturn, who to the occult, Saturn is the keeper of time. 45 is the sum of the magic square of Saturn. Check out that video. I'll link it in the description as well. Got a Donald Trump playlist if you've never gone through my playlists. So what we're looking at here is a magazine cover made in the episode of Suddenly Susan. The episode's called I'll See That and Raise You Susan. It came out May 8th, a date that we write as 5/8 in the United States. This was the 58th presidential election ever. Anyway, this episode came out May 8th. Donald Trump ended up winning the 58th presidential election. In this episode, they make this magazine that asks our next president. You can see his purple tie, purple background color. Remember in Gematria, purple equals 88 like Trump. Notice that our next president equals 83, like the Donald, like leap year, like election, presidential elections in leap years. Our next president also sums to 227, just like Fordham University. 227 is a very special number because when you divide 22 by 7, you get the number for pi, having to do with cycles and circles. We're talking about presidential elections, which happen in absolute cycles every 4 years. 227, one of these very special numbers. In the history of presidential assassinations, this number very relevant from the attempt on Reagan to the death of JFK to the death of Abraham Lincoln and more. And remember, Donald Trump's the 45th president, but only the 44th man to be president because Grover Cleveland had the split term that messed it up ever since number 24. Donald Trump, 44th president. The last president to die, JFK, was the 44th term president. JFK was also the 35th president. The word Catholic equals 35, the only Catholic president. Well, I think that changes now with Trump because I think Trump is technically Catholic. He went to the Catholic University Fordham. He says he's Christian. He's not real specific about his religion. I do know that he went to the Catholic University in 64, a very special number to the gang of Freemasons and Zionists. There's a reason there's 64 spaces on a chessboard. Trump equals 88. The product of 8 times 8 is 64. 8 plus 8 is 16. Trump wins in 16. Anyhow, this episode came out May 8th, 97. This could be a coincidence here, but we're in the 97th season of the NFL. 97th season of the NFL right now. Football in Gematria equals 83. Have to pay attention with what goes on the rest of this football season to see if we get a big Donald Trump tribute by season's end. Very New York election. We'll see if New York makes it to the Super Bowl. So this is from Suddenly Susan, May 8th, 1997. Again, Freemasonry equals 58, Secret Society 58. The day after the election, or actually later the day of the announcement that Donald Trump was made president, November 9th, big headlines that Lady Gaga was protesting in front of Trump Tower, the 58-story Trump Tower. He also has a 68-story. She was protesting in front of the 58-story the day after the 58th presidential election. Freemasonry 58, Secret Society 58, Lady Gaga 58, Freemasonry 4 men. There were 44 kings of Israel. Donald Trump's the 44th man to be president. In The Simpsons, it predicts that the first female president follows Donald Trump. And we know The Simpsons in predictive programming. The Simpsons also like to code the 11 and 9. Springfield equals 119, the hometown of The Simpsons. Springfield. Got a lot of videos on The Simpsons, from Arnold Palmer to the Patriots to 9/11 to so much more. Show known for its predictive programming. But then again, what you have to keep in mind is these TV shows, these movie studios, our government, these professional sports leagues, they are all controlled by the same thing, and that is money and the people who control money, which are the Freemasons, the Zionist bankers, the Jesuits. The Catholic Church, pretty much just a big bank. Remember the 33-day Pope? He died on the date with 44 numerology. The word kill equals 44. He pledged to clean up the Vatican Bank. He died the day after the Jesuit order's birthday in his sleep. 33 days. The word arsenic equals 33. Arsenic's the 33rd element on the periodic table. That's what most people think killed that pope. The Vatican concealed his autopsy, didn't let out any information. Never any justice. So here's the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. This is really interesting, the date of this episode and what happens. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air with Will Smith, the star. Will Smith equals 44, by the way. His father just died the day before the election. I should do a video on that. It's another video I'll do. Anyway, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Donald Trump appears on this show May 16th, 1994. That was a date with 115 numerology. Donald Trump's going to become president with the 115th Congress. He published his book January 15th, 2000, 115, January 15th. The America We Deserve. That's the book where he predicts Osama bin Laden will have a massive terrorist attack against the United States. And he talks about the World Trade Center where the 93 bombing was at. It's because these people are all in a gang. We're living out a planned agenda, a planned show. Donald Trump's known for decades he was going to be the president of the United States. These people are groomed and bred to be. In that commercial we watched at the beginning, he talks about born for the job. That's the dialogue of the commercial. So anyway, what happens is Donald Trump comes to the door and Carlton's character goes, "The Donald," and then passes out. This man passed recently. I should go back and look at his death. But here's what blows my mind. I wanted to see what's up with Carlton. I wanted to see. Carlton is currently 45 years old. The actor that plays Carlton, Donald Trump just got elected as the 45th president. The Donald, he says before he faints. The Donald, 83, again, election year, leap year. Carlton, 83. Just like the caption from the Suddenly Susan. From Carlton's birthday to election day is 48 days. 48 days. Donald Trump, 48. Wall, 48. Remember, it's been 48 years since 1968. That was the 911 year. That's the year 911 became the national emergency dialing code. That's the year World Trade Center construction began in New York. That's the year George W. Bush graduated from Yale and Skull and Bones. He would become president 33 years later. Skull and Bones, Masonic, Freemasonry, fixated on numbers, occult esoteric information, fixated on 33. False flag equals 33. George W. Bush, born on a date with 33 numerology. His full name, George Walker Bush, equals 76, like the word master, born on July 6th. Anyway, from his birthday to 9/11 was also a span of 68 days. So here we are, 1968, Donald Trump, the first Republican since George W. Bush to take office, surrounding the Obama term. Of course, the Obama term began with Donald Trump and the birther argument. Birther in Gematria equals 44. Obama number 44, but the 43rd person. Trump, the 44th person. Anyway, 48 years since 1968. Donald John Trump equals 68. Perfect. His tallest building is 68 stories, also in New York. So anyway, that's the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. The next show in the clip that I'll link down below, you can just watch this clip all the way through, all of his TV cameos. The next one they show is The Job. And let's just watch The Job in light of what came up with the whole Nancy O'Dell thing. Remember Nancy O'Dell on the bus with Billy Bush? Check this out. Let's just listen to this right here. If this isn't loud enough, again, the clip's down below. I just want you to hear this if it comes through. Check this out. So did you hear it? If you couldn't hear it, he asked the comedian, I think his name's Dennis Leary, he said, "Are you banging her?" And he was like, "What?" And he's like, "Are you banging her?" And he's like, "Oh, no, I just met her." And he's like, "Oh, okay." So he goes in for the kiss and says, "Hi, Liz, call me." What just happened in the Billy Bush tape that came out 33 days before the election? Donald Trump talking about how he's a celebrity. He can just do whatever he wants with women. He can just lay the kisses on. He can grab their pussies, his quote. Here it is getting played up in the show. And what did I say the day that clip came out? I said, don't be surprised if Donald Trump and Billy Bush just recorded this the other day and they're just saying this is from 11 years ago. These people are actors. They're all part of the show. The whole point of the show is to work us up, frustrate us, torment us, divide us, just as it's doing. I know right now so many married couples are fighting in this nation. You know, just the two that I keep in touch with in my own community, they're both all divided over Donald Trump. The men like him and the women are disgusted by him. It's going on nationwide. Anyway, this show's called The Job. The Job equals 24. The Reflection of 42. Nancy O'Dell 42. Bus 42. Freemason 42. Freemasons believe in order out of chaos, divide and conquer. Remember, order out of chaos in Jewish Gematria equals 777. For Donald Trump, he will be 70 years, 7 months, and 7 days old on Inauguration Day. By the way, he calls her Liz. The episode's called Elizabeth. Elizabeth equals 88, just like Trump. Donald Trump came out to the song Queen. We are the champions. 88 days after Queen Elizabeth's birthday at the GOP convention, July 18th. Got a video on that. Also, the name Liz that he calls her by, Gematria 47, like president, like the 47 tall story building, Midtown Hilton Hotel, which Trump was in, election night, selection night. This episode, it came out March 21st, 2001. That's a date with 45 numerology. Donald Trump, the 45th president, 321 like a countdown. Also, that date can be written 21/3, a lot like 213. That's the number for Nimrod, the original Freemason, the builder who built towers, Donald Trump Towers. Isn't it amazing? If I didn't mention the Republican Party equals 88, just like Trump, the Democratic Party equals 87, just like Clinton. How perfect. Before we go to the Drew Carey show, which is out of Cleveland where the GOP convention was, remember Donald Trump went to the White House on November 10th for the first time, the same day the Cleveland Cavaliers came there to be congratulated for their championship. Donald Trump had his convention in Cleveland. Cleveland played the Warriors, who are originally from Philly, where Hillary had her convention. But also that day, it was a Thursday, November 10th. Thursday night football was the Cleveland Browns at the Baltimore Ravens, who wear purple, who won. And the Baltimore Ravens, they came from Cleveland. Cleveland lost their team. They became the Baltimore Ravens. Just like back in the day, Baltimore lost their team, and they went to Indianapolis, Indiana, where Mike Pence is from. Mike Pence, 45. But anyway, the GOP convention, it began July 18th, which can be written 18/7, like 187. George Washington equals 187 the big way, 88 the small way like Trump. From the start of the convention, July 18th to Inauguration Day, 187 days. And I said then, if Trump becomes president, this is how they scripted it. And, you know, the media is saying this is kind of like a revolution right now with Donald Trump, this non-politician being the president. Of course, this is all controlled. This is all a deception, mocking the people, leading them astray. But for people who don't get it, they probably see it that way. Wow, you know, we're doing it different. Things are going to change. Like George Washington from the American Revolution, you know? So Drew Carey show, the Drew Carey show, Gematria of 83, like the Donald, like election, like leap year. Cleveland sums to 33, like federal, like order, like masonry, like secrecy, like Brexit. I've been saying that Donald Trump became a TV celebrity in 1984, and there's plenty of places that have printed that, but I did more research on it. He first got his TV appearance in 1980 at age 33. He became more of a household name by 1984. You know, he got his first introduction in 80. By 84, people knew who Donald Trump was. 84 to 2017 is going to be 33 years. And remember, United States of America equals 84. Jesuit equals 84. We're in the time of the first Jesuit Pope, who has 84 birth numerology. Donald Trump began his campaign in Arizona, one of two states with a Gematria of 84. The other is Arkansas. Trump, the Jesuit, joined Fordham, the Jesuit University, in 64. The date of this episode, May 14th, In leap years, that's the 135th day of the year. It was also a date with 135 numerology. That date can be written 14/5/145. There's a 45 sequence in there. But 135, what that number is the key of David, which comes from Revelation, the final book of the Holy Bible 45. And the key of David is associated with Philadelphia. Philadelphia, the city, was established in history on a date with 135 numerology from the Bible. Philadelphia is associated with the key of David. Hillary ran or had her DNC in Philadelphia. So somehow I think there's some parallel here with that. Cleveland, Philadelphia, the two conventions, the coding of the date of this episode. Cleveland rocks. The Gematria sums to 144. Just like when you write out 44, Trump the 44th man to be president. The person he just appointed to be the head of his administration has named Gematria of 144 and is 44 years old right now. Just did a video on that. Again, if you don't subscribe to my channel, you should subscribe because I pretty much put out all the information you need to know for what's going on in this world and the bullshit we're living. You know, not to pat myself on the back, but I don't know anyone else who covers it, you know, in a more clear and undeniable way than I do. If you're not subscribed here, I don't know what you're waiting for. Missing out on all sorts of videos. And for those of you who subscribe to me, you got to check your feed anyway because YouTube purposefully does not put my videos up in people's feed. Every day people are asking me to make videos I already made and made days earlier. Got to check. You got to look. So anyway, here's Trump. He was on Sex in the City. Sex in the City equals 58. Perfect. You know, 58th election of a president, New York, Sex in the City, set in New York. The date of this episode was July 25th, a date that can be written 25/7. That's also the date Hillary's Democratic convention began. 257, which looks like July 25th, is the 55th prime number. The election date, November 8th, 2016, was a date with 55 numerology. Number for Satan, both Hillary and Donald Trump were in the Hell's Kitchen neighborhood. First time since 1944, both candidates had been that close in New York City. 44 is the number. That episode's called The Man, the Myth, the Viagra, and what it's focused on is a 70-year-old man in speculation if he can get it up. Donald Trump is 70 years old right now. That's what this episode's about. Came out in 1999. 1999. 16 years ago. He's in this film 2 weeks' notice. 2 weeks' notice has the Gematria of 187, like George Washington, like the convention date, 187 days before Inauguration Day. He's also in the TV show Spin City with Michael J. Fox. Spin City equals 115, becoming president with the 115th Congress. Freemasons, the plural, equals 115. JFK was killed on a date with 115 numerology in the middle of Dealey Plaza, named after a 33rd degree Master Mason. And again, the Zapruder film. Zapruder, a Russian. Oswald supposedly just came back from Russia. JFK had just been over by the Berlin Wall. Think about Russia, the Soviet Union. Now here's Donald Trump making associations with Putin, rumors with Trump and Russia. He has a wife that's from over there. You guys don't see how this is all a script, an agenda, a mocking? Wait until we get to the picture of Zoolander. The Spin City episode is called The Paul Lassiter Story. Paul Lassiter, the focus of it, equals 45. Donald Trump's in it, 45th president. That came out on January 21st. Number of Revelation. New York has all sorts of Revelation coding in its date of establishment. Trumpence ticket in Revelation, the final book of the Bible, the book of prophecy and destruction, which has to do with Philadelphia. It's the trumpets that warn. Trumpence. It's in our face. He was in the show The Nanny. The Nanny. Gematria of 38 and 101. I didn't put up everything here I decoded because I don't want to overwhelm people, but there were actually a lot of 101s in these episodes if you fully decode them. 101 is a number connected to political assassination throughout history. 38 is a number connected to death. It's also a number connected to change, and Donald Trump, people are expecting him to be the change candidate, just like Obama. Remember, Make America Great Again equals the same thing as Barack Hussein Obama, which is 163, which is the 38th prime number. The Nanny. That one called The Rosie Show. The presidential debates, we got to see Donald Trump talking at length about Rosie O'Donnell. This episode, it came out on a date with 115 numerology. You know, another one. The Associate. I couldn't find the information about this. He was in The Associate. Gematria 44, like 44th man to be president. What I noticed in this was Whoopi Goldberg. They're in the scene that they show here in the clip, which you can watch. They're waiting for a table at a restaurant. They can't get a table, Donald Trump and who he's with. But then Whoopi Goldberg comes right in and gets a table. And I noticed how she was wearing red and black, the colors of the Jesuits. And what it made me think of is the recent video I did on the Mad TV 2004 comedy sketch making fun of the Bush-Kerry presidential debate. The debate moderator was named Michelle Ombangondello. Kind of like Michelle Obama. 2004 is the year Obama gave the Democratic keynote address. They said, could he be the first black president that year? Mad TV, meanwhile, was giving you Michelle Ombangondello. And that name in Gematria equals 84. Obama's born 8/4. Obama in Jewish Gematria is 84. United States of America, 84. Number of the Jesuits and more. These are the gangs that are mocking us, ruling over us, planning out our future, essentially. I mean, some of this stuff's from when I was a little kid, you know? They were mocking us about 9/11 long before I was even born. You know, most of you watching me probably before any of us were born. This is why we got to take the world back. We're being laughed at. We were born into an agenda. We haven't had any say over anything. All this stuff about democracy and you know, all the stuff we're told about while we're forced to go to this public education system, it's all bullshit. That means what is done to us and what we need to start caring about is we're put through this slave system. We're lied to our whole lives. We're expected to go along with it. And if we don't, then we're demonized. We're criticized. We're made outcasts. And the saddest part is the majority of the people who are the victims of this system, they're the first to defend it. You know, they're the ones who keep it in line. Donald Trump's in the Little Rascals. No doubt he was born as a little rascal, born to be, like he says in the commercial we watched at the beginning. Little Rascals 58, like Freemasonry. This movie came out on August 5th, a date that can also be written 5/8, as they do in most parts of the world. Little Rascals 58, 5/8 date. Election of 58th president. He's in Zoolander. And maybe I'm wrong about that. Is that not his wife? When I looked at this, I thought maybe that was her, but how many women has this guy been with? Maybe that's not Melania, now that I look at it a second time. Anyway, here's Trump. Is it Melania? Maybe it's her. I'm not sure. But anyway, it's Trump with a woman. Look at the title of this film, Zoolander. The exact same thing as president. The exact same thing. This film came out on a date with 58 numerology. 58 numerology. How about it? 58th election of a president. Donald Trump. He's also in this film, Eddie. Whoopi Goldberg's in that as well. The point I meant to make a second ago when I was showing the Michelle Obama-Gondello thing, in The Simpsons, it's foreshadowed that after Trump comes the first female president. It's Lisa Simpson. Lisa Simpson equals 47, just like president. What if Michelle Obama ends up running for president after Trump? You know, Michelle Obama was making Trump look so bad, getting all this praise in the media. What if that's what Whoopi Goldberg's symbolizing? Her coming through, you know, she gets the table, but Trump doesn't. Wearing red and black like the Michelle Obama-Gondello character from 2004. It's just a thought. But this is how these people do us, you know. It's all planned. We're living out an agenda. Trump's in Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. Film came out November 20th, 92. Home Alone 88, Trump 88. Date with 142 numerology, NYC's 42, number of the Freemasons. When you write out 42, it sums to 142. Just like how when you write out 44, it sums to 144. Did you guys know that he fought Vince McMahon? Vince McMahon's all coded out, total Freemason, just like Trump. But did you guys know that they fought each other in WrestleMania? I didn't even know about this. I knew that he'd participate in WrestleMania, like going on the stage, but I didn't know that he actually was in a little fight thing with Vince McMahon. I guess this was WrestleMania 23. He's wearing a pink tie. Trump's wearing a pink tie. Pink has this Jewish gematria of 119. Trump gets on top of Vince McMahon and starts slugging him on the ground. If you haven't seen this, WWE equals 51, like federal, like conspiracy. Think about Area 51. Donald Trump's all pumped up after he gets up and Vince McMahon's knocked out. When Vince McMahon gets up, they got this shot here with the guy with the bright pink shirt behind. You know, Trump in pink, McMahon in pink, bright pink. What's it all about? I really do think this is predictive programming, you know? Trump unexpected was how they promoted this moment. It's just like the presidency. They're saying greatest upset since 1948. That's the year Cleveland Indians won the World Series. They just lost in the World Series. So The Apprentice, I wanted to look at when The Apprentice began. It began January 8th, 2004. That's a date with 33 numerology. Talked about Trump becoming a TV celebrity at 33, number of Freemason obsession. The Apprentice, 68, like Donald John Trump. Talked about that earlier this year. Here's one you got to see. Did you know about Donald Trump and Rudy Giuliani and drag in purple? Have you seen this? We'll take a moment to watch this one because I don't think enough people know about this. Rudy Giuliani, who's one of the scumbag politicians that still gets to go on TV that sold out the nation for 9/11, he's supposedly about to get a big position in Trump's administration. This is one of the most awful Americans there is. Let's watch this real quick. This is unbelievable. Again, I'm going to link all this down below if it's not loud enough for you. Watch Trump kiss Giuliani in drag, in purple drag. This is Giuliani right here.
You know, you're really beautiful. A woman that looks like that has to have her own special scent. Oh, thank you. Maybe you could tell what you think of this scent. I like that. This may be the best of all. Oh, you dirty boy! You oh! Donald, I thought you were a gentleman. Can't say I didn't try. Mayor Giuliani, he's given away over $2 billion in corporate wealth.
There he is, the coming president. And real quick, I just want to show a little clip from the end of this Pizza Hut commercial he's in. I'll link this clip as well. There's a lot of things that are interesting here. But I just want to talk about this part right here and why it's even possible that Donald Trump's the president, because there's a lot of truth in this quick comment from Trump. Watch this.
Now from just $9.95.
You've got to be losing money on this.
Did you just hear what he said? You gotta be losing money on this. And of course, it's supposed to be a compliment to the pizza. The price is so low. The quality and taste is so good. The truth is, as a people, our food agricultural system, it is a purposeful net drain on humanity. If you're not aware of this, as a nation, the majority of our tax dollars that go to food, they go to producing corn and sugar, things that are not good for us, things that are known to cause health problems. Of course, a lot of food can be made from them cheaply. And here in the United States, there's a lot of people scraping by who can barely afford to pay their bills that have to eat cheap. I mean, I think I'm talking about over half the country. They can't afford organic food. It costs too much. They got to buy the ramen noodles, for example. But anyway, our tax money pays to make these products cheaper for us to afford at the store. And the same is true with cattle and beef and all this mass-produced meat. Donald Trump used to sell the Trump steaks. Our food system is by this way by design. Feeding us bad food, we don't get the proper nutrition. That means we don't function at full capacity. That means our minds aren't as sharp as they should be. You know, it means we get sick needlessly. It means we die early. It means we contract disease and illness that cost a lot of money to treat. We are living in a system. A box has been built around us. It has to do with the information that we receive. This box, it is like a false reality. We live in a false reality. We've been taught lies from the beginning about our existence, the history of this nation, what is known to science, what is known to nutrition. You know, we're lied to every day about how our government works, and we're mocked. And we're mocked with the things that we're so obsessed with. TV, movies, junk food. We're addicted to all of the things the gang has given to us to destroy us. You know, I saw this with complete clarity when I was 18 years old when September 11th happened. And then I asked, you know, what's next? What could be worse? What are they going to do to us next? If we don't get justice, that just means from this day forward, things get more bizarre, more ridiculous, more absurd. We're about to have Donald Trump and Giuliani as, you know, two of our leaders in this nation. People that all this time have known about the lies of 9/11, the needless wars, you know, the needless domestic spy state built, the needless fear, all the wasted lives sent off to war, wasting their time, you know, all this money for more and more people to join the military. Have you guys ever thought about that? How they make people go into the military to get the education? I mean, how does that make sense? Why should education even be expensive, especially at this day and age? People are just going along with all this bullshit. And look at where it's taken us to. You know what I mean? Donald Trump gives that thumbs up with the sheep at the end, too. Let's watch that one more time. The video's this long. Let's just listen to this commercial one more time after all that we saw.
So what do you think of my Trump home?
And by the way, the front name of that tower, it sums to the same thing as Donald J. Trump, The Art of the Deal, his first book, all matching in Gematria.
Mattress collection by Serta. Finally, the same luxury and comfort I demand in my hotels.
Oh, they'll never count sheep again.
Listen, why don't you come work for me?
What do you have in mind?
Something you were born to do.
Welcome to room 9.
Looking good, number 9. Looking good.
Where's your dignity?
Save now on this.
Where is your dignity? Notice how he only talked to sheep number 1 and sheep number 9. In the hallway, we see 11 and 9, like the day announced being the president. 19 is like 19. POTUS for President of the United States. POTUS, the abbreviation, equals 19. Also, this is Serta. Serta in Gematria sums to 63, the year of the last presidential assassination. If you count every number up to 63, it sums to 2016, like the year we're in. That commercial from 2010. Till next time, Truth Seeker.